The chaotic world, soft piano music, a slow sunrise over a busy city, people rushing, traffic noise, screens glowing. In a world that feels increasingly chaotic, uncertain, and overwhelming, we often ask ourselves a simple question: what is really going on? Everything seems complex, too complex. From global crises to personal struggles, from the smallest cell to the vast universe, we are surrounded by systems we barely understand. But what if complexity is not chaos? What if it's something deeper, something meaningful, something intelligent? The idea of complexity, visual, flock of birds moving in perfect harmony, fish schools flowing like liquid. There is a fascinating field of science known as complexity theory, a field so mysterious that even its experts struggle to define it. Nevertheless, its ideas are powerful. At its core, a complex system is simple. It is made of many individual parts, called agents, each following basic rules and interacting with one another. That's it. No master controller, no central command, and yet, from these simple interactions, something extraordinary emerges. Simple rules, extraordinary results. Visual, birds swirling in the sky, forming shapes, fish moving like waves. Look at a flock of birds, thousands of individuals, moving as one, no leader, no blueprint, and yet perfect coordination, perfect beauty. How? Because each bird follows a few simple rules: stay close, avoid collision, match direction, and from that emerges something breathtaking. The paradox of complexity. Here's the paradox. The more complex something appears, the simpler its rules often are. This challenges everything we believe. We assume complexity requires complexity, but nature says otherwise. Nature builds complexity from simplicity. Emergence, the hidden force. Visual, zoom from atoms to molecules to cells to organism. This process brings us to one of the most powerful ideas in science: emergence. Emergence means the whole becomes more than the sum of its parts. You cannot predict water. You cannot predict water just by studying hydrogen and oxygen. You cannot predict consciousness just by studying neurons. Something new appears at each level, something unexpected, something emergent. Linear versus nonlinear thinking. For centuries, science has relied on linear thinking, cause to effect, simple, predictable. But life is not linear. Life is layered, interconnected, dynamic. To truly understand reality, we must shift our thinking from linear causality to emergent causality. Blueprint versus self-organization. Visual, construction workers building a building versus termites building a mound. Consider this. A building requires a blueprint. Every detail is planned. Every structure is predefined. But now, look at a termite colony. They build massive, complex structures without any blueprint, no architect, no design. Each termite simply follows simple rules, and the structure emerges on its own. The truth about life. Here's something even more mind-blowing: your DNA. It is not a blueprint. It does not contain a complete map of who you are. Instead, it contains rules, instructions, interactions, and from those interactions, you emerge. The missing levels. Visual, ladder or layers forming upward with gaps in between. Science has uncovered many layers of reality, atoms to molecules to cells to organs to organisms. But here's the mystery. There are gaps, unknown levels, hidden layers that we do not yet understand. And those gaps feel like magic, but they are not magic. They are simply knowledge we haven't discovered yet. The illusion of control. We like to believe that everything is controlled, planned, designed, but nature shows us something different. Control is often an illusion. Order can emerge without control. The power of interaction. Everything depends on interaction, not the parts themselves, but how they connect, how they influence each other. This is true for cells, brains, societies, economies. Even ideas interaction creates patterns. Patterns create systems. Systems create reality. From cells to consciousness, visual, neurons firing, brain activity lighting up. Your brain is a complex system, billions of neurons. Each follows simple rules, and yet, from these interactions comes thought, emotion, memory, consciousness. The role of memory for any system to function. It must remember. Memory allows patterns to persist. It allows learning, adaptation, evolution. Without memory, there is no intelligence. Filtering reality. Your brain does not process everything. It filters, selects, prioritizes, because reality is too complex to handle all at once, so systems evolve to simplify complexity. The universal pattern from atoms to galaxies, from cells to societies. The same pattern repeats, simple rules to interaction to emergence to complexity. This is the hidden algorithm of the universe, the human connection. You are not separate from this system, you are part of it. Your thoughts, your decisions, your actions all contribute to a larger system. The danger of ignorance. When we ignore complexity, we oversimplify, we misunderstand, we make poor decisions. But when we understand it, we gain power, clarity, perspective. The beauty of uncertainty. Complex systems are unpredictable, but that's not a weakness, it's a strength. Because unpredictability creates possibility. The future of science. The future of science is not about reducing everything into smaller parts. It's about understanding how everything connects. Final message. Music builds. Slow cinematic shots of nature, people, and the universe. We live in a complex world, but complexity is not chaos. It is order. In disguise, it is intelligence. Without a designer, it is beauty, emerging from simplicity. And once you understand this, you begin to see the world differently, not as a collection of separate things, but as a connected, living system. And within that system, you are not lost, you are part of the pattern. Ending line. Slow, powerful. Life is not designed, it emerges.